the Federal Reserve. You know about the Federal Reserve? One day, let me tell you a story that happened to me. I was preaching in 1990 in the fall in Alabama, and I was staying at a home in Georgia. And there was a girl by the name of Terry Hutto, Terri. And she knew that, Philip, you like to go to, I've heard you say you like to go to museums and things like that. And I said, oh, yeah, anything I can learn, that's where I want to go. She said, well, there's a museum about Woodrow Wilson that's just right over here into Georgia. It's where he was from. Would you like to go there? I said, sure, preaching at night, but in the daytime, we'll go to that museum. So we were going through the Woodrow Wilson Museum. It's his house. And when I went in, I felt a strong, strong demonic presence. And I told Terry, I said, something's wrong. I feel the devil here. His presence is here. She said, well, we can leave if you want. I said, well, no, let's keep going. So we went on through, and halfway through, they took us out to a little outside area, and it was surrounded by the house on two sides and the back side. And the back of that area was open, like the back of the tent here. And the car where he had driven around, and they had driven him, I guess, in his in Washington, D.C., was there in that area. Well, the demonic presence had gotten so bad in that place. I said, Terry, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why I feel the presence of the devil so bad here, but we have to leave. I can't stay here. And so she said, sure. So we left and went back to the home where I was staying. Years later, I heard the story, and I learned why I felt the presence of the devil. Woodrow Wilson, when he was president, I don't know what part of the Rothschild family, what they gave to him, but they persuaded him to give the American banking system into their hands. So they had drawn up a law to create the Federal Reserve, that the bankers in London would control all the money. And if America needed to borrow money, they would borrow money from the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is not an American, it's not a government institution. It is a Rothschild institution controlled by the Rothschild family. And so the Congress, Senate, there was no way they were going to pass that thing. But for Christmas, everybody left to go home except chosen, I don't remember if it was the House or the Senate, but it was the chosen leaders who were working with Woodrow Wilson and the Illuminati bankers, and they had been paid. And several of them stayed, and they had a vote, and they turned over the American money, the American banking system, to the Rothschilds. And so it's like, I've always wondered, what did they promise Wilson to get a hold of the American banking system? I don't know, but the American banking system has been in charge of by the Rothschilds. And every time America borrows money, we're how many, 30-some trillion dollars in debt? All the money, you know where we borrow it from? The Rothschilds. The Illuminati, whose job is, they pledged in 1776, May 1st, give us gold and we will give you the world. The Rothschild family will serve you, the devil. They were a Jewish banking family out of Germany. Headquarters now been in London for many years. So somehow Henry Kissinger was working with the Rothschilds. Well, who is the Antichrist? What do we know about him? There are many things from the book of Daniel, and I was not planning to get into this morning, but it comes to my mind, and I just just lost Micah. Come on. There we go. All right, so in the 5th chapter of Micah, there it came on. You have to hit it harder. Okay. Let's start with 5th verse. And this man, talking about the Antichrist, shall be the peace when the Assyrian shall come into our land, into the land of Israel. The Assyrian, the Antichrist is called the Assyrian. And he will come into the land of Israel, and when he shall tread in our palaces, then shall we raise up against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. I don't know who this is, what this is talking about. But when the Antichrist comes into Israel, and what's he going to do? He's going to sit, the temple will be finished, at the midpoint in the tribulation, not the beginning, the midpoint. And that's why when the temple is about done, he's like, nobody else is going to be God except me. And so he will, at the midpoint in the tribulation period, he will attack the countries that are aligned with him, the European Union and the Chinese and other countries that are aligned with him will attack the countries that refuse to worship him as the Christ. And America will be one of those countries. And even though the rapture has already taken place, America will be one of those countries that refuse to worship him. America, I will make this statement online. America, throughout the 7 years of tribulation period, will never, ever be totally conquered by the Antichrist and his armors. Ever. Repeat. Ever. And we say, English is a Germanic language, and when we sing in, we don't say our R's. I'm a music teacher. You don't say your R's at the end of the word. So it's ever. Okay? Ever. The Antichrist is not going to conquer America ever. Okay? After the rapture, millions and millions of Americans are going to get saved. And we'll talk about that in a little while. So the Assyrian, the Antichrist, comes into the land of Israel. The temple has been built. He comes in and claims to be, I am Jesus Christ. Okay? And when he cometh into our land, when he treads within our borders, and the remnant of Jacob. The Bible again and again talks about the remnant. I'm preaching and warning whoever the American remnant is. So there's an Israeli remnant. There are many countries. There is a remnant. There will be a European remnant, a Ukrainian remnant. So the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of man. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people. So at this time, many Jews will still be among the nations of the world. There are over 5 million Jewish people in America still. So here 2 times, the Antichrist is called the Assyrian. I think I left out verse 6. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders. So why is the Antichrist, why does God, through Micah, call the Antichrist the Assyrian? The Bible's a giant jigsaw puzzle. To find that answer, we go to Daniel, because it's not mentioned here. So we go to the book of Daniel. We will be in Daniel, hopefully, quite a bit today. All right. So what happened in history? When we see, there's a lot of information in chapters 7, but I want to go to chapter 8. We don't have time for everything. Now, it says in chapter 8 of Daniel, the 23rd verse, and in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors, and it talks here about Alexander the Great and a lot of information, but it says in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance, the Antichrist, and understanding dark sentences shall stand up from the devil, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. The devil will be working through him, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper, worship of Satan in his land. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Remember what it says, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come. He will claim to be the Prince of Peace. He will claim to have all the answer to these missing millions of people, all the children of the world. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Princes, but he shall be broken without hand. All right, so that's the Antichrist, is this person referred to in the 8th chapter of Daniel. Now, here's what happened. Remember, Alexander the Great conquered the world, and he died of a disease when he was about 32, 33 years old. All right. And so 4 generals took his place. The kingdom, Alexander's empire was divided among 4 kingdoms. And one of these guys he part of the empire was in Macedonia, in that area of Greece where Alexander the Great was from. Part of it was in Egypt. The Egyptians, part of the kingdom was called the Ptolemies, and then in Syria and Assyria, at that time it was Assyria, were the Seleucids. So there were 4 different kingdoms, and the general who was over the Seleucid, he was his great grandson was Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, so this family, the Epiphanes family, they were the generals that were over Assyria and Israel and that part of the world. Now, so over the years, his family intermarried. The Greeks intermarried with the Assyrians. And so that's why the Antichrist is called the Assyrian, because he is the descendant of Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, what happened? The Jews rebelled against the Greeks, and because Antiochus Epiphanes, he comes in to the temple in Jerusalem. Now, remember the story, getting all over the place, but stay with me. Remember when Jesus crossed the Sea of the Gadarenes, which was actually the Sea of Galilee. He comes across, and there is a guy who is possessed of legions of demons. And Jesus says, he commands the demons to go. They said, well, let us go out. Don't cast us into hell where other demons are at. Let us be free. Cast us out somewhere else. Let us do something else. And so the Bible says he cast them out into the deep, but he cast them out there was a big herd of swine there, and he cast them into the swine. And all of the swine, hundreds of them, they run off of a cliff and they all drown in the Mediterranean, in the Sea of Galilee. And then the people come and they're angry. You destroyed our source of income. Get out of our country. And so, of course, the guy he cast the demons out of was fine. All right. So the reason that these pigs were there was because in Greece and in Rome, when they offered sacrifices, they offered pigs as sacrifices. Israel, they offered lambs as sacrifices, but the Greeks and the Romans offered pigs. And right by that spot where that Jesus cast out the demons and they went and he cast them into the pigs, there is a huge temple to Zeus, the head Greek idol god. And the Romans took over that temple and they kept offering pigs, but they began offering the sacrifices to their idols. All right. So all of these pigs, they weren't just cast out of the demon, but Jesus destroyed the sacrifices to false gods. So that's why these pigs were there, because they used these pigs as sacrifices at the nearby temple that had been built to Zeus under the Greeks, under the time of Alexander the Great at that time, and by his generals. And so that's why all that situation took place. So Antiochus Epiphanes, he went into the temple in Jerusalem to defy the temple. He takes a pig and he offers it at the altar that was where the sacrifices were to be made to the Lord God Jehovah. And the Jewish family, there's 3 books written about help me, their family. What is the family name? It's even mentioned in the Chosen about that family. They started a war. One of the guys from the family, Lord, what is the name of that family? Anyway, they come against the Greeks, and they threw them out of Israel. And what is the name, Brother John? What's the name of the books? 3 books that were written by the Jewish people that they rebelled against the Greeks. The what? No. The Maccabees. Thank you, baby. The Maccabees. So the Maccabees rebelled against the Greeks and threw them out. They had a major war. Tens of thousands of people died, but the Jews won over the Greeks, threw them out, and set up the Maccabean kingdom. all right, that they ruled for years. So the Greek general went back to Assyria, and he was there, and the generations, his family intermarried with the Assyrians. And the Antichrist will be from the family of Antiochus Epiphanes, the Greek general. So who the great grandson, it was the one who offered the sacrifice of the temple at the pig in the temple at Jerusalem. And the Maccabees rebelled. And so that's why the Antichrist is called the Assyrian, because he will be the descendant. His ancestor went into the temple in Jerusalem and offered a pig as a sacrifice. And it's called the Abomination, Desolation. The Abomination, Desolation will take place again. It talks about it in Matthew, the 24th chapter. Go to Matthew 24. All right. And I wasn't going to get into this. I had no thought about that, but I feel impressed with the Lord. Okay. 14th verse of Matthew 24. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination, desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, that's in Jerusalem, in the rebuilt temple, whoso readeth, let him understand. And then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him which is in the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. And then shall be great tribulation. This is during the tribulation period, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. This is saying that what the death that will take place during the tribulation period will be much bigger than the flood at the time of Noah. Billions of people are going to die. So the first abomination, desolation, was when this Epiphanes offered a sacrifice in the temple. Well, the Antichrist, at the midpoint of the tribulation period, when the temple is rebuilt, he will go into the temple and he will proclaim himself to be God. And this is what Daniel prophesied, calling it the big abomination, desolation. So the Antichrist will be genetically, he will be part Greek, part Macedonian, and part Assyrian. Now, the Macedonia we have in the world today, the head bishop over all of the churches in Macedonia, he came to my house in Kiev. He begged me, "Oh, Philip, come and preach in Macedonia. We're like the poorest country in Europe. We only have 50 Pentecostal churches in Macedonia. Come and preach." And I never got the money to be able to go there. But anyway, the modern Macedonia is in a little further north than the old Macedonia that's referred to in the Bible. So you need to know the topographical location is a little bit different than the ancient Macedonia. So the Antichrist will be part Greek and will be part Assyrian. That's why he is called the Assyrian. He will come into the land of Israel to destroy the land, to claim himself to be God, to conquer the Jews. Remember what I read to you, I guess, yesterday from Matthew 23 about when Jesus came to the temple, and he called the Pharisees, "You hypocrites, you're a generation of snakes, vipers. How can you escape the damnation of hell?" He was so angry. He said, "I will never return to this temple. Your temple is left without a God. I will never return to this temple till the Israeli government recognizes me and say, 'Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.'" So Israel has another Holocaust in front of them.